Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback. Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Lock in gear.
Good day, everybody, and welcome back to the flight deck. We are here in Bangkok, and we're continuing our short haul world tour as we head down southeast towards Singapore. Hello, Kevin. How are you? And welcome to Nick and Danny in the chat as well. So we're here in the Phoenix A320, and Kevin's joining us. He's over there in the Cathay Pacific A310, and it's about 2:30 in the morning here. We're doing a red-eye, very late evening or very early morning flight. As mentioned, this is live time, live weather, and we are on VATSim, so it should make for a good flight down. Weather's pretty good at both destinations, or both our departure and destination, so shouldn't be any issues weather-wise. So let's hop on board the aircraft and we'll get her set up. All right. Doing good, thanks. A little bit of a cough, but other than that, Doing fine. So cockpit preparation is done. Parking brake is set. Ground power is on. There is connected. External power is on. Batteries 1 and 2 are on. And we can start getting the passengers on board. Not a full flight tonight, but we're about 80%. There they come. We're going to go up to the nears. We're going to get our IRS to start aligning. There we go. Our evac is on Captain Purser. That is good. Signs, both no smoking and seatbelt are now both on. Lights, system 1 for nav and logo lights are on. Crew oxygen is on. Generators 1 and 2 are on and on fault, which is fine because the engines aren't on. Packs 1 and 2 are on and in fault. Again, engines are not on. Emergency lights are armed. Standby compass and icing indicator is on. And the cargo heat is set to cold. So what we're going to do now is we'll come over. And this is the Phoenix. Got all this neat stuff here on the EFB. We're going to come in to the flight. And we'll load up the flight plan. There we go. And we're going to set our departure time to 2015. There we are. Alright, so we got 138 passengers, as you can see. We'll get that going. So the aircraft is loading. So if we pop over to Roger's side here, we'll go into here and look at our messages. We can see we've got our preliminary load sheet, number 1. Some initial weights and information on there, including 14 passengers in business, 124 in economy, for a total of 138. And we've accepted that. I will need that in a minute. We're going to come over here and we will start programming the MCDU. So database 29 December to 25 January. We are current. That is all good. And we are ready to initialize. So we're going to request them to send our flight plan to us. There we go. Flight plan is in and our alternate is in. Flight for today is Uniform Kilo Victor 5556, call sign of Skyways, cost index of 25, and our cruise for today's flight is flight level 370. That's set. We're going to come in and request the winds, and while we wait for that, we'll get our lights up. There we go. Make it a little bit brighter in here. Alright, so we got our wind data in. That is all good. We can come over to our Net B page. Block fuel for today's flight is 8,574 kilos, so 8.5 tons of fuel. And if we come over here, we can get our zero fuel weight of 57.4. And we will get, go to the second page, get our center of gravity of 30.5. This is preliminary based on ticket sales and scheduled cargo. We'll get a revised one shortly, and then we'll get a final one before we go. Let's just clear those messages. So that's all in, and we're good to go. Heading over to the flight plan. Current winds in Bangkok are not too bad. They're out of the north, not strong. So we don't have any real worry to worry about. I'll put that in the chat. Winds are 330 at 4. Few clouds at 2,000. Broken at 7,000. 27 degrees currently. QNH 1012. And no significant changes forecast. So 1012 is set. And cross-checked, and we'll put it in the standby as well. So we are going to be departing today off of runway 01 right on the Kigo 3 kilo departure. So we'll get that plugged in. Departure information is runway 01 right and off the Kigo 3 kilo. And we will insert that. Winds are the same kind of out of the north down in Singapore. So we're going to be arriving and landing on runway 02 right. And we're going to be using the RNAV 02 right. And we're going to be arriving on the LL1 Alpha. There we go. And we will insert that. So over to plan mode. Take a look. We're going to be taking off, making a series of right-hand turns as we come around. We'll just go through the plan. We're going to be basically flying out over the water along the islands as we head down. Indonesia. In, and you can see we're going to come down, make a series of turns to come out onto the RNAV and down to the airport. So that is looking all very nice. And I'm happy with that. Alright, looks like the IRSs have aligned. So we're going to go up and do our fire test. So remember what button that does what. So we'll do the APU test first. APU test is good. Engine 1. And engine 2. Excellent. It is all good. So we're going to set up the MCDU. Our initial climb altitude is going to be climbing to 18,000 feet. Oops. And we will adjust. Wow, it's really spinning quickly nowadays. We will adjust from there. Transponder is set 2,000. PWS GSC switches are on. Altimeters we've already set to 1012. And we are good there. So let's swing over here. So we got 46 of 138 on board. While we're waiting on them coming in, let's take a look at our flight plan and where we're headed. Find the charts here. Alright, so we are currently parked here on Concourse C, which is gate 71. Plan will be we're going to push back, we'll face south, we'll taxi out here on Gulf to Bravo. We'll taxi all the way down Bravo to probably Bravo 11. And then we'll be departing out from Bravo 11. once we've done that, did I star that? I did. We'll be departing out on the Kigo. I'm just going to find it. Sometimes not the easiest thing when they're all on the same chart. Three Golf, 3 Kilo. There's 3 Golf.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to welcome you aboard our flight. When you find your seat, please be sure to place your larger carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. Unless you're in a front row, please place all of your items in the overhead bins. If you have any trouble finding a location for your carry-on items, please let a flight attendant know and we would be happy to assist you. After you put your carry-on items in the overhead bin,
so we'll be taking off, coming up around here, making this series of lefts back out towards the water to Kigo, and then we'll be heading out from here en route.
Please review the exit seating responsibilities and the safety card provided for you. Please make sure that you are able and willing to perform these actions.
As you can see, our route's going to take us down over the sea here, between Cambodia and Malaysia.
Process, but we do ask that laptops, tablets, and any other larger electronic devices
down by out over the water.
Thank you and welcome aboard.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kevin, they don't. That's the thing. It's the same departure except for the endpoints. So on these ones, they've named them all via the endpoints, but it's basically the same thing. And because it's on one chart, they got to list them all. So we come down out over the water, and we'll be coming down and landing here in Singapore. Once at Singapore, as mentioned, our arrival into the Singapore area will be on the LL1 Alpha. LLO is the full title, 1 Alpha. So we'll be coming in and then down across this part of the island, slight jog to the right or to the left as we come in, and then we'll be making the turnaround here, and we'll be coming in on the RNAV for the approach. Did I start that? I did. And the approach is the RNAV or RNP 02 right. So we're going to make that turn down here. We'll come in to Loval, down to Mopsy, and then we'll be landing. Once we're down, Malacca is our alternate, by the way. Once we're down on the ground, text briefings. This is Changi Airport, by the way. Huge airport. We're going to be taxiing. We'll be landing this way. So we're going to come off on Alpha, taxi up Alpha, over to, switch over to Bravo, cross Juliet, come down on Tango, and we will be parking. Fortunately, we're parking up in this area up here, this apron here. So we'll be going into like Delta 46, Delta 44, somewhere in this Terminal 1 East apron area. So that is the plan for today's flight. Up. We're going to need the takeoff information soon, the calculator. Everybody is still getting on board. We've received our second load sheet, so this is an update. It's still preliminary, but a little bit more accurate on the information. If we go through it, there's 5 pages. You can see it gives us our aircraft information. Here's our call sign, date of flight, the airport we're at, our destination, so that's Bangkok, Singapore, and the IATA codes. We have the aircraft registration, Golf Foxtrot Lima Bravo Bravo. 0 fuel weight, maximum weight, so we're good there. Our takeoff weight, takeoff fuel, our maximum takeoff weight, so we know we're all within limits there as they stand at the moment. Total in-flight fuel used, estimated. Landing weight and maximum landing weight. This is our load difference on our space that we have on board. Then we have our passengers. There are 14 passengers, as I mentioned, business class. 124 in economy for a total of 138. It gives us our 0 fuel weight, center of gravity, and our takeoff weight, center of gravity. The aircraft is split into 3 zones in the passenger compartments, and this tells us the 3 loads of how many people are in each one. You can also see that if we go to the, I think it's the air conditioning. There's your three loads there. Oh, it's getting hot. Have to fire up the APU, get some air moving in here shortly. And we go over to the 3rd page. Cabin service trimmed, is all set. Adjustment weights have been adjusted for all the stuff they've loaded on board, the food and drink. Singapore, you see here, they've loaded on potable water. We're full, and that's all good. No deductions. Pantry has been prepared and loaded on board. That's the person who loaded on their numbers. There's our license for, I guess, alcohol service, and our fuel on board as it stands at the moment. So there is everything that you get on those messages. Let's go back, because we will get a final one. I ain't gonna fire up the APU. We'll get some air moving in the back. So wait for the flaps open. There's 3 seconds past anyway. We'll hit the start button. As soon as the flaps open, she'll start up. There she goes. I do have some scenery and some city stuff for Singapore loaded in, so we should get a nice airport and a nice view of Singapore itself as we come in. I'm going to go down 2 notches on the air, see if we get some cool air going in there once everything kicks on. Generators online. We're at 100%. It says it's available, so we'll hit the APU bleeds. And then you see the bleeds on 35%, and it's open. Should be able to hear it slightly blowing away there. See the temperatures slowly starting to come down. See if we can make it a little bit more manageable in the back for them. I am using toolbar pushback. I know you get the warning saying there's issues. We'll see what happens. Hopefully nothing. I don't know, Nick, if you're, are you around Thursday? Oh, what would it be? Afternoon, your time? I think maybe we can take a look at the error I'm getting with GSX and see if you know anything about it. Seems to be an install error. Temperature's down to 22 degrees. It's coming up nicely. Let's go click up there. I'll just hold it at about there. No, it's going to be too warm.
We're ready to go when you are.
All right, we are boarded. So let's pop down. Okay, I'll get a hold of you in Discord. So we are at VTBS, which is the, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, but one of the two airports in Bangkok. We're actually going to be going off of 01 right. Surface is dry. This is preliminary load sheet. It shouldn't be. It should be the, oh, unless this hasn't finished. Yeah, let's go over here. Mass and balance. Are we still loading? Yeah, we're still loading. That's right, I started this a little bit later. So we're almost there. As you can see, fuel's on board and cargo's on board. Got 4 more passengers to go. These actually work pretty good. They're within a few seconds of each other if you start them at the same time. I just started this one slightly late. There's 7. Come on. And the last person's running down the jetway. Told them that they're gonna close up. There we go. Alright, so that's on. We'll resend the load sheet. We can come over to our departure
Good morning,
performance.
ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard flight
01 right, we'll load the final load sheet.
With service to
It's going to be flaps
Our flight
1F.
time will be roughly 2
NTIS
hours.
off,
And
packs will be
6
on.
minutes. Now that the cabin doors
Bring in the
closed,
weather.
please make sure
That's
that all
all
devices
set.
are in airplane mode and your large
And we
devices
got
are now
plenty
shut down
of
and
length.
stowed. Please
So we'll do our
fasten your seatbelt and make
calculation.
sure that all tray tables and seat backs are in a full
There you go.
upright and locked
153,
position for departure.
153,
Cabin crew,
153
prepare doors
down
for
the
departure,
board.
cross-check, verify
Flaps
straps,
1,
and
no
stand by
trim
for all calls.
adjustments, and 63 on the flaps. So we come down here to our performance. 153, 153, 153. Flaps 1 with no trims at 0. And $63 on the flaps. Not Air Transat today. No, you're Cathay Pit. Oh, looks like Kevin's getting ready to push back. He's doing handstands over there. We'll ignore that. So we're going to go over to 122.8, set the radios up. There we go. So that is now done. One last thing we got to do is we'll pull up the final load sheet. We'll accept that, and we're going to enter the correct information up here just so it's accurate. So our zero fuel weight is 58.1. See, it's changed. This is the actual numbers. And our center of gravity from zero fuel weight is 30.8. And we'll enter that in. So that's now got the accurate information. So we are good there. So APU Master is on. APU has started. APU bleed is on. External power is now disconnected. Takeoff data is set. 153, 153. FCU is set. Flight directors are on both sides. And radios are tuned. We'll throw the beacon on. And we'll bring up the pushback. Oh, I didn't have my radio on. I didn't hear it. So we're going to push straight back to there. And they can bring us around to there and there.
Cockpit to ground. This is ground. Stand by.
Oh, GSX. Hopefully they get this little conflict with VATSim sorted out. Kevin, are you good for me to push in front of you? Beacon light is on. Fuel pump's coming on.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed. The parking brakes are set. You may lift. Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
Yeah, Cathay Londarts, exactly.
We are cleared for start and push. Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Alright. Brakes released.
Parking brakes are released. Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
Bangkok area ground, Skyways 5556, gate 71, push and start, facing south. And mode selector to start, starting engine number 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your complete attention to the flight attendants as they demonstrate the safety features of our aircraft. You will notice a light illuminated above your seat. When this light is illuminated, please fasten your seatbelts low and tight across your lap. To fasten, insert the metal fittings into one another and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To
Fuel
release
flow?
your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight as you may experience unexpected turbulence. There are several emergency exits on this aircraft. To familiarize yourself
Kevin's
with the
looking normal
emergency
again.
exits on this
Must have
aircraft,
disconnected
please
from the
refer to
tug.
the safety card in the seat back pocket in front of you. In some cases, your nearest exit might be behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, there is lighting on the floor to guide you towards the exit. In the event that the cabin loses pressure, an oxygen mask will drop right in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth and secure the elastic band behind your head. Tighten the straps if necessary and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask first and then assist others. Leave your mask on until a member of the crew advises you it's safe to remove it. In the unlikely event of a water landing, a life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between the armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Flip it over your head. Wrap the straps
Alright, good start on engine 2, starting engine 1.
To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft. If it doesn't inflate automatically, you may blow into the mouthpiece for manual inflation. This vest is equipped with a whistle and a light. If you need to, your seat cushion can be used as a secondary flotation device. Please make sure to exit the aircraft as soon as possible and leave your belongings.
Okay, pushback
Please
completed.
securely stow
Set
your
your
personal
parking
items.
brake.
Make sure your seatbelts are
Parking
fastened
brake
and
set.
seat backs and tray tables are in
Parking
their full
brake set.
upright
Lowering
position.
aircraft.
We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke
Ground.
detectors
Startup is
located
complete.
in the
You may
laboratories
disconnect.
is prohibited by law.
Roger.
All of
Good
this
engine start.
information
Clear to
and more can be
disconnect.
found in the
See you at the
safety card
side.
located
Have a
in the
good
seat
flight.
back in front of you.
Holding
We
position,
suggest
waiting
reading
for the
this, and
visual.
let us
Thank
know
you
if
and
have
goodbye.
any questions. Thank you for flying with us, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
Alright, so it looks like we're getting a good start on engine number 1. There we go, engine's available. Looks like both packs and both generators are online. So ignition mode selector to normal. Probe heat, window heat are on automatic. Engine anti-ice is off. Packs 1 and 2 are on. Flaps 1 plus F. Trim 0. Flight controls full left, full right, neutral, full forward, full back, neutral, full left rudder, full right rudder, neutral. Controls free and correct. APU bleed, APU off, FCP is set, managed, and 18,000 feet. Engine instruments are checked and all green. Tiller is active. Nose light to taxi, and dome light is off. Ground spoilers are armed. And TO config. Oh, auto brake. Max, TO config. No blue. Bangkok area traffic, Skyways 5556, taxiing runway 01 right via Golf Bravo, hold short Bravo 11. Brakes released.
And to any move traffic, long deck 1 Tango is following the Skyways, taxiing hold by Bravo 13 for 1 right, taxiing via Tango 7, Charlie 6, Golf and Bravo.
13,000 foot runway. We don't need the whole thing, so there's no point taxiing down to the far end.
Please note, the cabin lights will be dimmed for departure and landing. If you require additional lighting, there is a reading light on the panel above you.
So we're doing a little bit of off-roading here. It's the kind of the second one we want. First one is Charlie. Here's the second one being Bravo. Interesting. So I haven't seen a notice come up in the Discord that the stream's up.
We're ready for departure.
Cabin is ready. I had a few hit and miss things happening with the stream over the last few days. Alright, that's 5. To see out here. It's another dark flight, but again, hopefully with the days getting longer and us moving further east, we should start seeing some sunshine, at least when we get to our destinations. Kevin behind us. There's 7, 8, and 9. 10. And 11's coming up. So we're going to take the next left. Transponder is on, TCAS, TARA, tilt above. Weather radar is on, doesn't matter, doesn't work. We'll do it for completion. Bangkok area traffic, Skyways 5556, taking position, runway 01 right. So, turn off lights, come on. Strobe lights are on, runway landing lights are on, and nose wheel to take off. Oh, did they come in? Oh, yeah. That's nice. All right. We're set. Runway is identified. V-speeds are confirmed. Nose lights are on. Strobes are on. Runway lights are. Landing lights are on. Turn-off lights are on. Transponder TA, RA, and on. Clock is running. Engines to 40%. Bangkok area traffic, Skyways 5556, rolling runway 01 right on the Key Gob 3 kilo departure. Brakes released. Manflex SRS runway enabled. Airspeed's live. I did roll back my graphics driver to October as well. We'll see how that works out with screen tearing a little bit later. 100 knots. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Speed brake disarmed. That's better. One on. And climb power set.
Super on the wrong traffic. Can say 1 Tango Heavy is taking position 1 right, waiting 1 minute for separation from complete traffic.
Alright, nose is coming down for acceleration. That first turn. Still got a little bit of screen tearing. Not as, I don't know. It's the same as the last update. There's Bangkok. Other airports over that way. We're gonna turn. There's S-speed. flaps up. Accelerating to 250 knots, continuing our climb.
So weather from traffic, Cathay 190 Cathay is throwing runway, run right for kick up 3 kilo at departure, initial climb 11,000 foot.
It's 250 knots. We got a 6,000 foot altitude restriction coming up. It's 370 entered in for our top of climb to our cruise. We have to be under 6,000 feet here at RS 101, and then at RS 103 we have to be under 11,000 for aircraft coming in. While we're up here, we'll turn off the turn-off lights and the taxi lights. Seen the top of the clouds anyway. We're 1.5 miles out, we're making the turn. Once we pass, where's that BS 103, we can climb up all the way up to cruise. We're now climbing up to 11,000. It's our next restriction. Switch over to standard pressure. Kevin's back there in the clouds somewhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now passed 10,000 feet. You may now turn on your larger portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder to please keep your seatbelt fastened while you're seated and
So landing lights are off.
Or near the lavatory.
It's a pretty calm night out here.
Wi-Fi. You will be required
Turn off the
to pay a
seatbelts.
small fee if you wish to access it. We do offer complimentary in-flight TV thanks to our partners. Connect to the Wi-Fi and you'll be able to access our wide range of free live TV and paid movies library. The flight crew has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can now get up and move around the cabin. However, we ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened when seated in case of unexpected turbulence.
So since we're over 10,000 feet, we're up to our high speed for climb and cruise. And at the moment, we're just holding level until we can get above the restriction. see Kevin's up on VATS Spy. Looking good. Oh, there he is. Just popped up on TCAS there. There's some views of Bangkok out there as we fly back around, heading towards the coastline. Oh, now the alert went out 3 minutes ago, so 45 minutes after the stream started. Well, better late than never, I guess. Alright, we're 7 miles out before we start climbing again. And once we start climbing, we'll settle into the back. Actually, no point in settling into the back, there's nothing really to see. We'll settle into the front here, where we will monitor our flight from here, and we'll throw on the in-flight entertainment for today. It's not a long flight, but we do have something lined up. There's the turn. Should kick to the next waypoint, which is Quadrant, and then we should commence our climb. There we go. So we're heading up to flight level 370. So while we continue our climb up the cruise and then cruise along the coast of Malaysia, sit back, relax, partake in the galley and the drinks and the food and the in-flight entertainment, and we will talk to you as we get ready for our descent. I'll be in the chat and off mic until then. See you in a bit.
Getting out of the wrong side of the bed. For that, you can almost drop dead. Break a wishbone, and if you get the big end, your wish will come true, and your troubles will end. Got it. Uh-huh. I guess I win. If you whistle before breakfast, you'll cry before dinner.
Listen to the mockingbird, listen to the mockingbird, still singing where the weeping willows wave. I'm dreaming now of Hallie, sweet Hallie, sweet Hallie. She's sleeping in the alley, and the mockingbird singing where she lies. Listen to the mockingbird. How'd I get in here? Man, you gotta straighten up and fly right. Looks like I've been invited for dinner.
See a pin, pick it up, and all the day you'll have good luck.
Ain't he superstitious? That's all I wants to know. Hey, boss. Hey, boss. Hey, boss. Hey. Boss! Boss, I hate to interrupt you when you's eating, but you done spilled the salt.
Yikes! If you spill salt, throw it over your shoulder or you won't live to be much older. Come out wherever you are.
Here I is, boss.
Yay! A ladder. Hey, if you go under a ladder, your days will grow sadder and sadder.
Thanks for the information, boss.
Oh, that's all right, pal. Put it here.
Why not? In the house with an open umbrella will make you a most unfortunate fella. Hey, boss, bread and butter.
Yikes! 3 on a match.
And you wind up in the booby hatch. You'll be sorry. Peekaboo.
Oh, this is hard luck.
That's right, boss. 7 years hard luck.
Did you say 7 years hard luck?
That's what the man said. That's what he said. He said that.
Yikes!
Afraid of a black cat. My. Is he super duper stitious? Friday the 13th, Lockwood. Salt. Rabbit's foot. Horseshoe. Lockwood. Salt. Rabbit's foot.
Dartmoor, Brisbane, isolated from the outside world by walls of granite.
They say you could get out of here by merely telling what you know. You may or may not be another Scotland Yard bloke. I'll give you the same answer I gave the others. Still have 2 years, 8 months, and 6 days left, which to make musical boxes. Will be sold at auction for the benefit of this delightful sanctuary. 10 to serve.
Move along. And now we come to the next object on our list, or I should say objects, because there are 3 of them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these can be bought together or separately. Now, these beautiful little musical boxes only arrived this morning, and I didn't intend to put them on the auction block until later, but I'm going to sell them now. So, good friends, as our old pal Mark Anthony used to say, lend me your ears. And what do you? Right. The beautiful tinkle tinkle of a musical box. What a lovely trinket. What a beautiful gift. Created and made by loving hands. A thing of beauty and utility. Who's going to start with £5? It's a bargain, £5. Do I see any hands? Is there a connoisseur in the house will go £3 for it? £2. £1. 10 shillings. 10. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, 10 shillings is offered for a musical box you couldn't buy anywhere in London for less than £5. It would be stealing to let it go for 10 shillings. I'm taking milk from my baby.
All right, we're selling for 10 shillings.
10 shillings, 10 shillings is offered, 10 shillings is offered, 10 shillings is offered. Then what do you give me, £1? For every £1?
For one someone will give me £1. £1, £1 is offered, £1 is offered, ladies and gentlemen, £1 is offered against them, sir. You got it £2. You got it £2, sir. £2. £2 is offered. £2 is offered, going once, twice, third and the last call. Sold to the gentleman for £2.
Sorry, my dear.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, comes the opportunity to purchase an exact duplicate of the beautiful little musical box just bought by this gentleman for the ridiculous low price of £2. Well, it's exactly the same. Exactly the same. Made with the same hands. Hear that? Isn't that lovely? That tinkle, 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 tinkle. Sounds like Bow Bells to me, you know, with the ladies pulling on the rope. Who'll give me £2? Who's starting with £2? Will anybody start with £2? Oh. You know, from your enthusiasm, we might all be in Scotland instead of London.
Please buy it for me, Daddy.
£2, certainly not. We all might be in Scotland. Besides, I don't like his man.
£1, 10 shillings.
£1. £1 is ours. £1 is offered. £1 is offered, going £1. The advance, going once, going twice. The third and the last call. Sold to the lady for £1.
Smart bidding, my dear.
Thank you.
We come to the third and last of these beautiful little musical boxes. Exactly the same. Tinkle, tinkle. Isn't that lovely? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't bring you here to gull you and swindle you. This is the exact replica of the 2 I just sold before.
We're closed.
But this is extremely important.
I'm sorry to disturb you, but I was unfortunately delayed from arriving in time to bid on certain articles which I was rather anxious to obtain.
Or perhaps it was so-so. We are carrying several things over. What might the articles be, sir?
3 identical musical boxes about
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but they were so. Pity you weren't here to bid on them. They didn't bring anything like the real value.
anxious to obtain them. I wonder if your records would show who the purchasers were.
Oh, we don't usually give out that information, sir.
For certain, shall we say, sentimental reasons, I'm most anxious to get in touch with the purchasers. I were willing to pay, shall we say, £5.
Well, for certain sentimental reasons, sir, we'd be very happy to oblige.
Alfred, today's sale. The 3 musical boxes.
Musical boxes. Here we are.
The first purchased for £2, Mr. Julian Emery, 52, Portman's Fair. Right as it dusted down, I've written yes, sir. Second didn't leave any name.
Oh, unfortunate.
I think she's a dealer. You see, they don't like us to know where the things are going.
On account of the profits.
You say the second purchaser was a woman. Can you give me a description of her?
Oh, she's a young woman. Fairly tall, slender, a light complexion, and dark hair, and she was wearing
a grey suit, don't you remember? She probably runs a gift shop. She paid £1.
You say she comes here fairly frequently?
No, I didn't say so. But she does. Like as not, she'll come in on Thursday. We have sales on Mondays and Thursdays.
And the third box?
Third? Oh, Mr. William Kilgore, 143B Hampton Way.
Potentially.
Quite a drop from £2.
Mr. Kilgore was a Scotchman.
Thank you. You're most helpful.
Oh, thank you, sir. And any time you're passing, dropping, we always have lovely things for sale. Our cards are...
Thank you. I'll be back Thursday. The message reached us too late. Musical boxes are being sold. Let's get out of here.
Someday you'll go too far.
Reaching for a star.
Yet, who may touch a star, Colonel Cameron, if you but reach high enough.
Not possess it as you would.
The musical boxes, they're being sold. What a pity for you, my dear Colonel.
Is it my fault that the message reached us only an hour ago? Is it my fault that they were sold? You can't hold me responsible for that.
But for your sake, you're right.
Upon you tonight at 7:45, a gentleman who desires to consult you on a matter of the very deepest moment. Remember that letter, Holmes? Written over 2 years ago. Interesting case. Ever so interesting. The Adler. A striking-looking woman. A brief glance I had of her. Seems only yesterday. Charm. What poise and what a mind. Sharp enough and brilliant enough to outwit the great Sherlock Holmes himself.
I take it the new issue of the Strand magazine is out, containing another of your slightly lurid tales.
Indeed.
What do you call this one?
I call it A Scandal in Bohemia. Is that title, eh?
If you must record my exploits, I do wish you put less emphasis on the melodramatic and more on the intellectual issues involved.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I do hope you've given the woman a soul. She had one, though.
By the woman, I suppose you mean Irene Adler?
Yes. I shall always remember her as the woman.
That's a little boy. How are you? How are you, old boy? I haven't seen you for years. I want you to meet my old friend Sherlock Holmes. Holmes, this is Stinky. In other words, Julian Emery.
How do you do, Mr. Emery? Watson's often spoken of him.
Oh, had he? Yes, we were at school together. More years ago than I care to remember, but you didn't come in here just to remind me of that. No, I just happened to be in the neighborhood and saw your light burning, so I took the liberty of looking you up. Still writing your mystery stuff? Yes, there's a new one out this week. Good, I never missed it. Oh, good, thanks. I say that bandage makes you look very interesting. Still poking your nose into other people's business as usual? Who hit you? I haven't the foggiest notion. Somebody knocked me on the head in my own living room. Then proceeded to commit the most idiotic burglary you ever heard of. But I must have been balmy as a coot. Balmy? Why? Come sit down, old boy. Thank you. You like a cup of tea? Well, oh, all right. I'll go and tell Mrs. Johnson about it.
Why do you say the robbery was idiotic, Mr. Emery?
Oh, simply the fact that with about £5,000 worth of useful boxes in my living room, the thief, who I caught in the act, made off with one that isn't even worth £5.
I gather you're a collector of musical boxes.
Yes, I am. Some of them very beautiful, but not the one that was stolen. The thief evidently grabbed the first indicator of his hand when he heard me coming into the room.
It was rather odd, isn't it, that having disposed of you, he didn't pick up something more valuable. Was there anything unusual about the stolen box?
No, nothing at all. No, I picked it up in the south of France several years ago.
You say you have many valuable music boxes, and yet the thief made off one that isn't worth £5. Sounds like rather an intriguing little problem.
Yes, well, I take it that he was just an ordinary petty thief and didn't know the value.
That is a possible explanation, yet I venture to say that the average petty thief has more extensive knowledge of the value of object d'art than the average collector.
Well, anyway, that's Scotland Yard's theory. They didn't get very excited about it.
That's consistent anyway. I wonder if I might see your collection, Mr. Rudder.
Why, of course you could, yes. Nothing a collector likes more than showing off his trophies. When would it suit you?
No time like the present.
Good. My place is just round in Portland Square. Shall we? Yes, right. Hello? Where are you going? Sticky hasn't had his tea yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're going round to my place. I'm going to give me something better than tea. Now, this one was made for Rose the 15th, and is one of the very few still in existence from that period, and that you can find specimens left. Charming, isn't it?
Why?
It would sound to me like a lot of mice running about on a tin roof.
I bet you have no ear for music, Watts.
A good old band playing a rousing march. You have all your silly tweet tweets.
Rabbit. What do you say offhand is the value of a box like that, Mr. Emery?
Well, it's hard to say offhand. I think we'll bring about £500 or £600 a day. It's the gem of my collection.
A thief who steals an oddity like a musical box prices up one worth £500 for one of almost no value at all. Odd. Very odd. What is the stolen box like, Mr. Emery?
Oh, just a plain wooden box about so big. As a matter of fact, I have one over here, almost exactly like it. I picked this up yesterday at an auction room in Knightsbridge. Paid only £2 for it. Of course, I wouldn't in the ordinary way add one like this to my collection, but the tune intrigued. I'd never heard it before. Have a remarkable ear for music, huh?
Rather an unusual melody.
Sit down.
Thanks. You see you bought that box from auction sale yesterday?
Yes, the Gaylord auction room in Knightsbridge. Run by old, what's his name? Crabtree.
At what time was the robbery committed?
About 3 o'clock this morning.
You know, Mr. Emery, that box and the robbery might well be cause and effect, especially since you say that the stolen box outwardly resembles this one a great deal. And, Scotland Yard were not particularly interested, eh?
Oh, yes, but I wouldn't blame them for that. Especially as I told them I was quite unable to describe the thief, except, of course, for the fact that it was definitely a man.
All you remember is that you came in here and someone struck him on the head.
Yes, the next thing I knew, my man was trying to revive him.
You might be wise to put that box away somewhere and lock it up.
Oh, I don't think that's necessary. Besides, everything's insured.
Well, at least if any further attempts at robbery are made, I'd suggest that you call the police, rather than running into any personal danger.
Oh, come down to being a bit of an alarmist?
Possibly.
Must agree with old Stinky. Seems to me you are making rather a mountain out of the molehill.
Molehill is the word, old boy, and it's time you were in bed. Thanks so much for letting us see your face.
Well, it's been glad meeting you.
In a few moments, we'll be starting our in-flight service. We will be serving complimentary
I understand why you were so
snacks.
mysterious.
Please look in your
Seems
seat back
to me
for our
the
list of
petty thief
complimentary
explanation was the only
ingredients.
sensible one.
Really?
Many drinks are available for a small charge. If you wish to make an
I believe
additional
there's
purchase,
anything else.
please note that we
Beef
only
theory is
accept
the
credit cards.
obvious one, I grant you. However, it's often a mistake to accept something as true merely because it's obvious. The truth is only arrived at by the painstaking process of eliminating the untrue. We are not able to do that in this case, without further data.
Rubbish, you're pulling my leg. You're trying to turn a cut-and-a-halfpenny robbery into an international plot.
No, I'm not. I just hope that your friend Stinky is a little more cautious in the future. Just in case.
Yeah? Julian Emmerich here. Who? Of course I remember you. Yes, you're the one bright spot there holding me down the Faraday center. Huh? But it isn't too late to come round. Yes, I should be glad to give you a drink. I tell you what, come straight up and I'll leave the door unlatched. Right. Well, 15 minutes? Good. I should be counting each one. No, I mean that. Right, goodbye.
I know I shouldn't have called you so late, but I was at a party just around the corner, and I remembered your invitation to see your collection of musical boxes.
My dear Mrs. Courtney, pleasure is all the greater for being so unexpected.
My friends called me Hilda.
Thanks. Mine called me Stinky.
Stinky, how sweet. Oh, what a perfectly wonderful collection of musical boxes. You know, when you told me you had a collection, I had no idea it was so attractive.
Yes. They appeal to the ear, as well as to the eye.
Oh, what a plain little one. Why, it looks just like a country cousin amid all this grandeur.
No, you mustn't underestimate the country cousin. I only last night a burglar broke in here, and with all these to choose from, it all become very much like it.
Really?
Yes, I don't mind the loss of the box so much, but I do resent this crack on the skull.
But it makes you look so interesting.
Do you think so? Sorry, that's what old Fatso said.
Fatso?
I mean, Dr. Watson. He was here this evening with a friend, Mr. Holmes. He's interested in my collection, too.
Sherlock Holmes?
Yes, you heard him?
I've heard of him.
Yes, he seems to think I'm in some sort of danger.
What a haunting tune. It takes me right back to my childhood.
You heard me? Then I saw that you should be interested in that particular musical box.
Oh, why?
Because Mr. Holmes is also interested in it.
He may have been more interested in the tune than the box.
Yes, that's right. I remember now. He whistled it note for note, having heard it only once.
Really? He must be a remarkable man.
Bit of a alarmist, if you ask me.
Don't you believe in warning?
Of course not. Would want a box like that.
I would.
I'm not scared.
Oh, but I am.
You would be in a very awkward position. I'm a collector. The collector buys but never sells.
But the price were high enough.
Price has nothing to do with it. It's the principle, really. Yes, well, you haven't had our drink.
No thanks. I must be getting along.
Must you really?
I'm afraid so.
You're not walking out on me, are you?
My reputation.
I say, you know, you are an attractive woman.
You fool. I told you to wait outside. Why did you have to kill him? All I had to do was walk out with this.
He held you in his arms.
Don't touch him. Don't touch me. Now get out.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry. What about me? This is murder. What about Scotland Yard? What about Sherlock Holmes? Now get out!
get it? Good. Did you have any trouble with it?
Just a matter of murder.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. Hopkins. Thanks for coming so promptly. Inspector Lestrade suggested that I call through to you.
Mr. Emery was a client of Mr. Holmes, Inspector.
Indeed. You didn't mention that when I telephoned you, Mr. Holmes.
Well, not exactly, no, Inspector. Sergeant Thompson?
He was killed between the hours of 11 and 2 o'clock this morning, Mr. Holmes.
Must have been someone he knew, someone of whom he had no suspicion.
Oh, Stinky. It's all my fault. I should have prevented this.
Well, there's no time to start talking about that now, Doctor.
Apparently it's gone. That's the second attempt on the musical box that they were important at the auction sale. And this time it was successful.
So the box was only worth £2.
It was worth a man's life once. I think we'd better pay a visit to Gaylord's auction room and look for a Crabtree. Inspector, may I suggest that you make a complete search of this flat for a small, plain, musical box about that size? Thank you. Come on, Watson. Say the first box went to Mr. Julian Emery. The second, Mr. Kilgore, 143B Hampton Way. The third to the unidentified young lady who presumably has a shop and lives at Golders Green.
That's right, Mr. Holmes.
Seems rather strange, Mr. Crabtree. Houston had 3 identical musical boxes, all playing the same tune. Where'd they come from?
Dartmoor Prison.
Dartmoor?
Here, we get a regular shipment from there every month. The inmates manufacture them. They make all kinds of things. Pipe racks, waste paper baskets, musical boxes.
Did you happen to notice if anyone showed any particular interest during the auction in the purchasers of these 3 boxes? Oh, come on, Mr. Crabtree. This is very literally a matter of life and death.
Well, since you put it that way, Mr. Holmes, there was a gentleman came here about an hour after closing time, and he was in an awful state he was. He gave me £5 to tell him where the box had gone. He said they had a sentimental value for it, too.
Expensive sentiment.
Can you describe him?
Tall, distinguished looking. Grey hair and a moustache. He was quite a gentleman, sir.
Now, what was his reaction when you were unable to supply him? He addressed the young lady who owned the shop.
I told him the young lady usually come back on Thursday. He said he'd come back on Thursday. That's the plan.
Thank you, Mr. Crabtree. You've been very helpful. Thank you. Come on, Watson.
Where are we going now, Holmes?
Come on, Mr. Kilgore. The man who bought the third box.
How do you know those other 2 musical boxes are of any importance?
I don't, but I certainly have no intention of waiting until the owners are murdered to find out.
All at home.
I thought that's the explanation.
I'll have a look through this window. Doesn't seem to be anyone there. The place seems deserted as far as I can see.
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Kilgore at home?
No.
When do you expect them?
Oh, in an hour or so. There's no use you're hanging about. They don't buy nothing from peddlers.
Peddlers? The woman, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes? Oh, go on.
Do you mind if we come in and wait? My business is rather urgent.
Well, I've got to go out and do my shopping. And I don't know if Mrs. Kilgore liked any strangers nosing about.
Quite all right, I assure you.
Well, I've got to be off. Him to wait in the parlour. And no smoking either. Mrs. Kilgore says it smells up the house.
Funny old girl, Holmes.
Park Lane.
Park Lane? And what would the likes of you be doing in Park Lane?
Now, don't worry about the fare, Ducky. If you knows how to get to Park Lane, off it.
You know, Holmes, I've been thinking. There must have been something hidden in that box, those stinkies. Stolen jewelry, possibly. What's up, Holmes?
Listen.
Just steam in the water pipes? VATSim! Great Scott! Come on, Holmes. Get on the chair here.
All right, my dear. There. Now, don't worry. It's all over.
You don't cry anymore.
She tied me up and shut me in the cupboard.
I know. She won't come back. Did you show her your new musical box?
Yes, she said she wanted to hear it played. And as soon as I showed it to her, she grabbed all of it.
I know. Now, don't worry, nobody will buy you a new musical box.
Yes, my dear, the best one in London.
What? Oh, what a fool like you.
What do you mean, Holmes?
She took the musical box out of his house in that lunch basket. Right under our very noses.
Why could the Kilgore charwoman want to take the music box?
She isn't the Kilgore charwoman. She's a consummate actress. An extremely clever, unscrupulous woman who will stop at nothing to get up the charwoman won't learn till my parents get back. Explain everything to them.
Of course I will. But, Holmes, where are you going?
Somewhere, somehow. I must get to the young lady who bought that third musical box before our opponents find her. I only hope that I won't be too late.
Anymore. Cheer up. Would you like to hear old Uncle make a noise like a duck? Sorry?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, how much am I offered for this beautiful lace Dresden china figurine? A lady of the French court. Now, this is the genuine art. What a beautiful ornament for your mantelpiece. Or you could use it as the centerpiece on the dining room table now. Will somebody start me for £10? Somebody start me for £10? £8? £7? All right, £5. £5 is offered, £5 is offered, £5 is offered, £5.10, £5.15, £5.15. £6 is offered, £6, going once, going twice, the third and the last call. Have you all done? Sold to the lady from Twickenham for £6. Next, we have a real museum piece, ladies and gentlemen. A fine 19th century doll. A costume and exact replica of the holiday clothes worn by the Hungarian peasantry. Well, ladies and gentlemen, an article like this will cost you from £15 to £20 in a West End shop. I'm not going to ask for anything like that. Who'll give me £2 for it? £2. Anybody offer me £2? £2, £2, £2. £1. What? Did anybody give me £1? Anybody offer me £1 for the doll? £1 is offered, ladies and gentlemen. £1 is offered. Now, I'm not going to waste your valuable time or mine in trying to get one half of what this beautiful doll is worth. The young lady can steal it for £1, that's her good fortune. So it's going once, it's going twice, a third and last call. Any more? Sold to the young lady for £1. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I draw your attention to something which may be a great surprise to you, worthy of any collection. The only other one like it is in the British Museum. It's a Ming vase of the 7th dynasty. This vase lay in a large collection somewhere outside Rome for over 2 centuries, I understand. It was discovered there by the noted antiquarian Sir Andrew Coppleston. Now, some of you may remember Sir Andrew Coppleston. Besides being a noted traveller and antiquarian, he's also a gentleman rider.
A girl with a parcel in her hands, that's her.
Are you sure that's the girl?
She fits perfectly the auctioneer's description.
Follow her, Hamid.
Dear, and only £1. You can get at least 3 for it. Listen, I'll go make some tea. I could do with a cup. Right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm looking for a birthday gift for a 7-year-old girl. What would you suggest?
He has some lovely dolls. Now, this Hungarian...
I think she has enough dolls already. Books are always welcome. Well, I'm looking for something a little different.
Well, that's rather cute. What is it?
Well, that's a musical box. Children always love them. And this is an exceptionally nice one. It plays many tunes.
Have you any others?
Yes. You can just step this way. I have only 2 left.
Oh, nice. Are you sure this is all you have?
I'm sorry. They're rather hard to find them. That's our entire allotment. I did have one other. I sold it earlier this afternoon. But it was only a plain wooden one. It wouldn't have been a very nice gift for a child. Really?
Do you happen to know who the purchaser was?
Yes. He left his card, just in case anyone should inquire for him.
How interesting. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'll have to look a bit further. Thank you anyway.
Goodbye, Mary. Thank you.
Heavy! Follow that cab.
Here, now, what?
Scotland Yard.
Copy.
Sherlock Holmes. I might have known.
We thought we were the hunters, instead of which we're the hunted.
We've been fools. We played right into his hands. Of course. He's had us followed. Don't look. The man in front of the toy shop. I mean, turn sharp right at the next corner and again at the next.
No photograph of her, Commissioner. As I expected. She's not a known criminal.
I'd expect to know if you do find her. After all, she was disguised as a charwoman.
Don't worry, old fellow. If I ever see her again, I'll recognize her.
Well, it won't be long till we know who they are and from where they operate. Who's covering them?
Sergeant Thompson's following them, sir. They won't get away from him. He's a good man.
We could have arrested them at Clifford's toy shop if we had any proof.
We know that they killed their man.
Proof, my dear fellow. We must have proof.
We've x-rayed it, sir. There's nothing whatever concealed in the box.
We'll have a look at the plates.
Must be some clue. It's probably so obvious that we've all overlooked it.
Seems to me we're up against a bunch of lunatics.
Not lunatics, my dear fellow. Extremely astute, cold-blooded murderers.
What can these little musical boxes have in them that's so important? Don't forget, they were made in Dartmoor prison. People smuggle stuff into prison, but not out.
Do you want us to break the box apart, sir, to see if there's anything the X-ray hasn't caught? No, not yet.
Do you mind if I take it?
Certainly.
Thanks.
The governor of Dartmoor Prison informed us, sir, in answer to Mr. Holmes' question, that all 3 musical boxes were made by the same convict, John Davidson, serving a 7-year term, sir.
Davidson? Bank of England plates.
That'll be all, yes, sir.
Now we're getting somewhere. Wait a minute. How did you know about the plates, Mr. Holmes?
I'm a student of crime, Inspector. I make my business to know about such things. When the name of Davidson was mentioned...
Well, who is this fellow Davidson?
As long as Mr. Holmes seems to know all about it already, I suppose there's no harm in telling you. 2 years ago in London, there occurred a robbery of such tremendous importance. Although the stolen articles themselves have no intrinsic value whatsoever, that the Home Secretary was instrumental in seeing that not a word of it appeared in any newspaper.
You never told me anything about this, Holmes?
You were away at the time.
Articles of no intrinsic value and yet of such importance? I don't understand.
Davidson was apprehended within 15 minutes of committing the theft. But by that time, he'd hidden the articles in question and they've yet to be found.
Before going further, Dr. Watson, I must inform you that this matter is not to be mentioned outside of this room.
Of course not. Do I look like a man who gossip?
Let's not go into that now, old fellow, shall we? Davidson had been employed for years in a position of extreme trust by the engravings department of the Bank of England. The articles he stole were nothing less than a complete duplicate set of plates for printing £5 notes.
What? Bank of England's own plates?
Precisely. And with those plates, a gang of crooks could flood England with £5 notes, not forged in the usual sense of the word, but notes undetectable from genuine Bank of England notes in any way whatsoever. Any whisper at all might have resulted in enormous damage in shaking public confidence in the Treasury.
We tried everything after we arrested Davidson. Offered him a shorter sentence if he'd tell us where he'd hidden the plates. Why, we even put in Scotland Yard men with him as cellmates, but no results.
Obviously, Davidson is a man of strong character and infinite patience. Yet suddenly he feels impelled to smuggle out the secret of the hiding place of the plates to his confederates. Why?
I don't understand, Mr. Holmes.
Well, for example, has the Bank of England made any plans to radically change the design of the £5 note so that in, say, 7 years from now, notes made from the stolen plates will be worthless?
Confidentially, Mr. Holmes, such a move was discussed. But replacing all the £5 notes in circulation would be such a Herculean task that nothing's been done about it as yet.
I see. Of course, there's another possible explanation. Davidson didn't have much time to find a hiding place before he was captured. He may be afraid the plates will be accidentally discovered before he's released. Hence his anxiety to communicate their whereabouts to his confederates as soon as possible.
I believe you hit it, Mr. Holmes.
I'm sure that the message is contained in this musical box. Or rather, in all 3 musical boxes, since possession of all 3 seems to be essential. Our opponents have 2/3 of the puzzle, and we have 1/3.
Well, what are you going to do, Holmes?
Try to deduce the message from the 1/3 that we have. Same tune as the one played by Emery's musical box. Yet it's different.
Sounds the same to me.
Tune. Somehow the tune is the key to the mystery. It must be the tune. Otherwise, why use 3 musical boxes to convey the message? Why not collar boxes or shoe boxes?
Yes? For you, Inspector.
Oh, thank you, sir. Inspector Hopkins speaking. What? Where? Golders Green Station reports they've just found Sergeant Thompson's body. From the tire marks on his clothes, he was apparently run over by a taxi.
An unfortunate accident.
Not an accident, my dear fellow. I'm afraid it's murder.
Just you're going to meet when you're walking down a busy London street. Mrs. Orchid to Mrs. Brown, any subject of the crowd. Oh, you never know just who you're going to meet. So you better hold your topper in your hand, just in case you meet a lady on the Strand. Girls will think you're kind of sweet, and your day will be complete. Oh, you never know just who you're going to meet. Now a gentleman is judged by his appearance. Yes, a gentleman is judged by how he talks. Now he's much better off when he's acting like a top, especially if he's taking him a walk.
What on earth is this outlandish place?
A rendezvous for actors.
Actors?
Buskers, old boy. You've seen them 1,000 times. Actors who entertain the queues, waiting outside theaters.
When you're walking down a busy London street, so you better wear your best. No advice to look your best, 'cause you never know just who you're gonna meet. So you better keep your manners right in view, just in case a lady gives a how to do. Keep your trousers in a pleat, shine your shoes and keep them neat, 'cause you never know just who you're gonna meet.
Blimey. Mr. Owens.
How are you, Joe?
Never met him. And yourself?
Fine, thank you. I want you to meet a friend of mine, Dr. Watson, Joe's sister.
Oh, well, any friend of Mr. Holmes is a friend of mine.
Hi, Joe.
He did me a good turn once that I'll never forget.
Yes, I cleared Joe of a most unpleasant charge.
Murder, no less.
Murder? By proving to the satisfaction of the police that he was busy at the time blowing open someone's safe.
That's right, Governor.
Excuse me. Now, Joe, now you can help me.
Come on, Buzzo. Come on, up it. Can't a gentleman have some peace and quiet around here? And you too. There you are, Mr. Holmes. Now we can have some peace and quiet around here.
Thank you, Joe. There's £5 of this for you.
Well, I wouldn't want to take it on myself, sir, but I can get somebody to do it for you for half of that.
You don't know what the job is yet?
For £5? Murder, ain't it?
What? No, Joe, not murder, just music. I want you to identify a song for me.
Oh, there ain't a song that's been written that I don't know.
That's why I came to you. Of course, the violin is more my instrument, but, oh well, here we go. Now listen to this, Joe.
Wait a minute. You're playing that wrong. That should be E natural, not E flat.
You know the song?
Oh, yes. It's an old Australian song called, The Swag Man. But you're playing it all wrong.
That's what I hoped you'd say. Now listen again, Joe.
That's the same tune, all right. But you're making different mistakes than you did the first time.
No, not mistakes, Joe. Call them variations. Here, play the song for me. We'll hear the way it's written.
What's it mean, Holmes? You onto something?
Perhaps. I don't know yet. It's probably a code of some sort. Joe? Could you write the song down for me? The way it was originally written?
Oh, sure, Mr. Holmes. But it'll take a few minutes. Here, Ladle. Hey, Ladle. Come on, off to it. On with it.
Obviously, it isn't the lyrics. No combination of those words made any sense at all.
The variations in the way Emery's musical box played the tune are different from the variations of the one we have.
Sure?
Quite. You see, I took the trouble to memorize the tune as played by Emery's box that night we were with him in his flat.
Oh, you amaze me.
Elementary, my dear fellow. One of the first principles in solving crime is never to disregard anything, no matter how trivial.
Why the 3 boxes? Why not 1?
Because the message was obviously too long to be conveyed by any one variation. Then there's the 3rd box, the one that woman took from the Kilgores. That contains yet another set of variations.
Well, it's all beyond me.
Well, all we have to do now is to find the secret of the variations. Not a very easy problem to solve, my dear fellow. Hello.
What's up?
We've had company.
Say, this is outrageous.
Ask Mrs. Hudson to come in here, will you?
Right. Mrs. Hudson?
Yes?
Oh, there you are. Will you come up here at once, please?
Coming, sir.
Mercy me, Mr. Holmes. What has happened?
You called while we were out, Mrs. Hudson.
Just a young lady. The one who said you wanted her to wait for you. And a nice-looking old gentleman.
Our friends again, Watson.
Friends?
What did the young lady look like?
Oh, I couldn't see her face. She had a heavy black veil on. But she had such a nice way with her. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes, if I've done anything wrong. But you did say I should always let clients come in and wait for you.
Don't worry, Mrs. Hudson, don't worry. You had no way of knowing. It's quite all right, quite all right. Now, don't worry, Mrs. Hudson.
Don't worry. Where on earth's the musical box?
They didn't get it.
Get it? Where is it?
It's in your hand. In that biscuit jar. Take the biscuits off the top. Now put your hand inside, and you'll find the music box.
Well done, Holmes. Well done. Amazing. Fresh smell. How about closing time? Mr. Holmes?
Oh.
It's morning.
Allow me to congratulate you on a brilliant bit of deduction. It's not a transposition, not a polygraph transposition, not a trigraph. Any known form of decoding.
Dr. Morse code. Tried that?
Yes, about 3 o'clock this morning.
Well, man, I was going to try to help. Do me a favor. Not again. Must have heard that thing 1,000 times. Awake all night.
Not a very distinguished composition, I grant you.
Perfectly well, I don't know one tune from the other. When I was a kid, my people tried to have me taught the piano. Sorry if that old teacher of mine. Poor old girl finally reached the point of numbering the keys for me. Even then, I never progressed beyond it.
Numbering the keys, Watson? Key of the keyboard is the 19th letter of the alphabet. S. Here. I'll be down if I give it to you, will you? Let's start the note. Write S first. Now the 8th, the key is H. 5th key E. The 12th key L. 6th key F.
Show.
Your piano lessons were not in vain, old fellow. You've solved it. Thank you.
Thanks so please. Hold it.
You now have 2/3 of the message behind books. Third shelf, secretary, Dr. Guess. Presumably, these are the first and second portions of the message.
And this gang has the first and third plots of it.
Precisely.
And it's a stalemate?
Yes, Commissioner, but we can't leave it like that. There's no doubt in my mind that they will try to secure our third of the message that's missing.
I assume you've taken every precaution to guard the equipment.
Oh, yes, it's carefully hidden at Baker Street with Dr. Watson on guard. However, I'm reasonably certain that, difficult as it may be, we can find the plates even without the missing part of the message.
Behind books, third shelf, secretary, Dr. Guess. Outside of the fact that Davidson hid the Bank of England plate somewhere in London, Mr. Holmes, I don't see that we've progressed at all.
Allow me to point out to you, sir, keywords Dr. S. It looks as if the plates were hidden and housed the doctor. Whether S stands for his first or last initial remains to be determined by a process of elimination.
Well, there must be 10,000 doctors in London with S for a first or last initial.
Precisely. And every one of them will have to be questioned in person. That's why I say this is a task for Scotland Yard.
It's a task, all right. Scotland Yard has searched worse haystacks and found the needle.
Well, for the time being, I'll leave the map in your hands, gentlemen.
We'll call you if and when we get a lead on our mysterious Dr. S.
Thank you. In the meantime, I intend to follow up a little clue concerning a cigarette. You're certain of the identification of the tobacco?
Absolutely. I have made up the special blend for only 3 customers. It is almost pure Egyptian, with admixture of latakia for added body, and a pinch of perique. Nearly a whisper, as one might say, for elusive fragrance.
Yes, and the 3 customers?
Major Wilson in Bombay, India. Mrs. Catherine Leamington Smith in Ireland.
Yes, and third?
Mrs. Hilda Courtney, Park Mansions, Bryanston Square.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You've been most helpful.
It is a pleasure to have been of service, Mr. Holmes.
Yes?
Mrs. Courtney?
Yes.
My name is Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, do come in.
Thank you.
I've heard of you, of course, Mr. Holmes. I believe we have a mutual friend in Sir Edward Brookdale. He's spoken to me of you quite often.
Indeed.
And to what good fortune am I indebted for this visit?
I think you know Mrs. Courtney.
Well, I did get a summons for speeding last week. But outside of that, I don't think I have any interest in the police.
Oh, come now, Mrs. Courtney. You seem to forget that you and I have met before.
I'm sorry. I'm sure I would have remembered meeting the great Sherlock Holmes. Please sit down.
Thank you.
You say we met before?
Yes. The home of Mr. and Mrs. Kilgore, 143B Hampton Road.
Kilgore. I don't think I know anyone of that name.
I didn't say you knew them. As a matter of fact, you called on them when they were out.
I don't understand, Mr. Holmes.
Really? You were dressed rather differently.
Indeed. Cigarette?
Thank you. Thank you. You know, Mrs. Courtney, people generally forget, assuming a disguise, that the shape of the ear is almost infallible means of recognition and identification of the trained eye.
Evidently you've mistaken me for someone else.
Oh, no, not at all. Though naturally I expected your denial. But when you paid your visit to my rooms in Baker Street, you carelessly left behind another identification. They're identical, aren't they?
Yes, I must admit they are. You see, Mr. Holmes, to catch one as clever as you, I had to use a very special rule. I knew you'd be unable to resist the bait of my cigarette, having read with great interest your monograph on the ashes of 140 different varieties of tobacco.
I should advise you not to move, Mr. Holmes.
I must congratulate you on your ingenuity, Mrs. Courtney. It's indeed a brilliantly designed trap.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Praise from a master is indeed gratifying. I shall always cherish the memory of your flattering words.
Memory?
Precisely. I'm afraid these gentlemen have a most regrettable task to perform.
Unless, of course, you care to turn over the missing musical box with your pledge to take no action against us in the future.
I'm afraid that will be impossible.
I thought that would be your answer. Hamid! Careful! Careful. There's no need to be unnecessarily rough with our distinguished guests.
You realize, Mr. Holmes, that your demise will not take place here with your corpse of the necktie, you know.
Naturally.
Shall we go?
so fearfully awkward having a dead body lying about. Don't you agree, Mr. Holmes?
Another dead body should weigh too heavily on your conscience, Mrs. Courtney. Mind if I have a cigarette?
Don't see why not.
Be careful, Hamid.
It's the brakes, they bind.
Thank you, Colonel Kavanagh. It's very considerate of you.
You'll be happy to know, Mr. Holmes, that your death will be a painless one. Hamid, attach this to the motor of the taxi. That little attachment, my dear Mr. Holmes, contains the deadly fluid known as monosulfate. Germans use it with gratifying results in removing their undesirables. Start the motor. Tape his mouth. Up with him, Hamid. You find yourself like Muhammad's toddler, Mr. Holmes, suspended between heaven and earth. Plenty of fuel in the tank? Good. It would be too bad to have anything go wrong through so simple an oversight.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes?
No, I'm Dr. Watson.
Well, of course, Dr. Watson. How stupid of me.
So, it's to the maid. Won't you come in?
Well, I really came to see Mr. Holmes.
Oh, I'm afraid he's out. Will he be back? Perhaps there's something I can do. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
You know, Sherlock Holmes and I have been engaged on a great many cases.
Really?
Yes, indeed. As a matter of fact, this very moment we're involved in one of the most baffling of you tell me your trouble, I'm going to help you.
It's very kind of you, Dr. Watson. Perhaps if I wouldn't be imposing too much.
Oh, there's no imposition at all. A pleasure, I assure you. Now, tell me all about it,
Miss Williams.
Mrs. Williams.
I live in Surrey, Dr. Watson, and I've come up to London in sheer desperation. My My only sister has disappeared, and the local police seem utterly unable to find her.
Well, Holmes and I solved a case exactly like that once. Very interesting as far as I remember. I call it the adventure of the solitary cyclist. That's right. I come to think of it, it wasn't so very similar. Rather different now. See what I was saying? Where were we?
She's only 17, Dr. Watson, and until she disappeared last Thursday, she seemed to be in the best of spirits.
Possibly a romantic entanglement?
Oh, no, nothing of the sort. She left no note, didn't even pack a bag, no explanation. She just started to walk to the village from our house in broad daylight and simply vanished from the face of the earth.
Oh, there.
Might I have a glass of water?
One minute.
Thank you, Dr. Watson.
No, you're not to cry anymore. You must pull yourself together.
I feel much better already knowing that you're going to help me. Oh, Dr. Watson, look!
Good heavens! Oh. Get through the fire brigade, quickly!
Haven't you a fire extinguisher?
By George, we have. Miss Williams, we'll have this thing out in no time. That's got it. There. You see, there was no need for the fire brigade after all. I hope you weren't too frightened, Miss Williams. Gone. The trouble wound. They always lose their heads in an emergency. Musical box. Great Scott! Miss Williams!
Well? Good.
Holmes?
By now, Mr. Holmes has no doubt exchanged his violin for a harp.
Always assuming that heaven is his destination. Now that we have the missing musical box. Nineteenth note. 19th letter.
Yes.
Be there, you say? Holmes, where on earth have you been? I've been trying to get you to the club, Scotland Yard, all over London.
Looking for me in the wrong places.
Oh, terrible things happen. I've been duped. That woman, she made a complete fool of me.
Oh, what do you mean?
She came here, let off a smoke bomb. I thought the whole place was on fire, and my first thought was to save a musical box.
You don't need to say any more. She has the box. Don't blame yourself too much, Rudder. She's an extremely clever antagonist. Smoke bomb, you say? Well, you can console yourself with the thought that your charming friend is at least a reader of yours.
What do you mean?
If I remember correctly, you wrote about my little experiment with smoke in a fine car in a story you entitled A Skin Temple, which has just appeared in the Strand magazine.
All right, boy. Rub it in.
But it may cheer you up to know that you made a fool of me, too. That cigarette stuff was planted here for one express purpose. You're bandaging around this place.
Bandaging? What's the matter, Holmes? Neglect?
Explanations will have to wait until later. At the moment we're faced with a problem which I fear is insurmountable.
Come over here, boy, will you?
Right. Our opponents are in possession of all 3 parts of the code. Here are we, while the Bank of England plates pass into their possession.
Cheer up, old boy, cheer up. Dr. Samuel Johnson once said, there's no problem the mind of man can set. The mind of man cannot solve.
Was that all, boy?
Including Dr. Samuel Johnson. He said there is
Thank
no...
you, Watson. Thank you.
Leaving the front reception room, we come into the main hall, where Dr. Johnson was in the habit of passing through to have his meager meals in the dining room opposite, in company with his friend and biographer, James Osborne. We will now pass up the stairway, which remains in its natural wood finish, just as it was when the good doctor was here. The framed etching on the wall is believed to have been presented to Dr. Johnson by the distinguished painter, Sir Joshua Reynolds.
Is that important, my dear? Oh, I'm sorry.
This way, ladies and gentlemen, please, this way.
Move along, children, move along.
The secretary's not on this floor.
Patience, I made work.
I have a feeling
My
that...
dear Colonel, with Sherlock Holmes out of the way, what could go wrong?
And here we have the Garrett Library, in which Dr. Johnson wrote his famous dictionary, and in which you will see also many of the great man's books and other items of interest. Step forward, ladies and gentlemen, please, step forward. Standing in the corner is the secretary, which contains many of the original works by the literary genius. On this table, Dr. Johnson's cat, Hodge, used to sleep while his master worked. The strange thing about this cat, ladies and gentlemen, was his love of oysters. They do say that the dear doctor often went hungry to find the cat that delicacy. Oh, pity. Now we will visit the grave room, which is immediately below us, in which you will see the very bed in which Dr. Johnson died.
What did he die of?
Gout. Just gout. This way, ladies and gentlemen. Mind the steps, please.
Your keys. Third shelf up. Good night. Gentlemen, the Bank of England plates.
Well, Mrs. Courtney, so we meet again. No, I shouldn't do that if I were you, Colonel Kavanaugh.
I must congratulate you, Mr. Holmes. You're far more clever than I thought.
Thank you, Mrs. Courtney. Praise from you is indeed gratifying. I shall always cherish the memory of your flattering words.
Memory? Oh, thank you.
And now I have a most regrettable task to perform.
Holmes! Coming, Holmes! Holmes! You all right?
Perfectly, thank you, old fellow, but I think this gentleman on the floor requires some medical attention. We will see that he looks his best, you know, when he's hanged.
Take them in charge.
Brilliant antagonist. It's a pity her talents were so misdirected. will you see that these plates are returned to the Bank of England, Inspector?
I still don't understand how you solved it, Mr. Holmes.
It's entirely due to Dr. Watson. He gave me the clue when he mentioned Dr. Samuel Johnson.
Congratulations, Doctor.
Oh, thank you, Inspector. I don't think I'd have done it entirely without Mr. Holmes' help, you know.
Alright, welcome back to the flight deck. We're about 80 miles from top of descent. Just taking a look at current METAR for Singapore. Came in about 10 minutes ago, so it's probably the last one we're going to get. I'll post it into the chat. So as you can see, winds are 340 at 2 knots. A few clouds at 1600, broken at 30,000. Kind of see the clouds down there. 25 degrees currently, and 1010. Come down here and tune in the standby. So let's get our information entered. QNH of Prime 1 Gaming. No, I'm not using GSX. I've had an issue with updating and then reinstalling it. Some type of file error. I've got to sit down and try to figure it out. I switch between Pushback Express and Toolbar Pushback. Temperature of 25 degrees. Winds 340 at 2, so pretty inconsequential. Transition level 11,000, that's fine. Our baro on this approach, we're doing the LNAV VNAV on a Class C aircraft. We have a RV of 750 meters, shouldn't be an issue. 326 feet is the baro, so that is all now entered in. So we'll come down and take a look at the charts and just confirm what we're doing here. You can see we're heading south at the moment. Coming in on the Ilalo VOR, our arrival. Coming down, we're in this section right now, heading down this way. At Kilot, we're going to begin our descent, and we'll be coming down to BPAP, Pasu, basically straight southwards, and then we're going to make a little bit of a left jog and come down around the airport. Yeah, I've had issues with all three actually, Brian, so nothing's perfect. We'll then do the RNAV down, and probably around MOPSI we'll take over manual flight down to the runway. And as mentioned, we're landing on 01 right, which is, or 02 right, which is this one. And when we get down, we're going to taxi along Alpha up to Juliet, across. Probably going to go down this first one down here, come in at Papa 2, and we're going to be parking. There's Papa 2. We'll come along the line here, and we're going to go to what did I say I was doing? D42. D46. So we're gonna go into the first one here. Let's make a note of that. So that's where we're headed. That's the Terminal 1 East apron. We'll be going in there. So that is the plan for now. And we're about 40 miles out from top of descent at the moment. And you can see where we are coming in. We're coming down the coast of Malaysia. As you can see, it's still pretty dark out here. Kevin's back here somewhere. A little bit higher, it's 2,000 feet higher. And it's the dead of night. As mentioned, this is either a very late flight or a very early flight, depending on which way you want to look at it. Oh. Well, in that case, let's do 2 center then. So we'll make that, we'll come down and make that change. So how I board, I use, okay, there's 2 things I'm using. I'm using Pushback Express, or PAX for all my passenger announcements. And then in the Phoenix, I use the EFB for boarding through that. I don't know if GSX affects the Phoenix weight. Nick, if you're online, you use it a lot. Kevin, you as well. Can you answer that question? Well, I get myself reset up here. So we're going to use the ILS 402 Charlie, and we're going to stick with the same arrival. You'll give me Alpha, or you give me Bravo. Alright, well, let's take a look at that. Oh, I didn't like that. Let me try this again. ILS 2 Charlie. Yellow 1 Alpha. Insert, there we go. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, and we can see it working there, so I'm just going to go change my charts. Do you allow me? Maybe I'll have to do it manually. Let me just come down here. So I want to, after Satna, I want to go to Lidva. And then after Lidva, I want to go to Lepna. It'll be this one. And we're going to take that out. check out that disco. There we go. And that just extends me out slightly further as we come around. Brian, on the Boeing 737s and on the A310, because I use that performance calculator, that web-based one I have, I use the Lido format, which gives me the information for 4500. Gives me the information that I'm looking for the calculator. And we'll start down our managed descent. Singapore area traffic, Skyway is 5556 at Kilot, leaving flight level 370 inbound on the Ilalo 1 Alpha arrival for the ILS runway 02 Charlie at Singapore.
Customs at our destination, flight attendants will begin handing out forms momentarily. Please review and complete these forms and keep them with you for presentation upon arrival.
Alright, so the ILS is set 4,500 feet. And 214 is going to be the new decision height. So let me quickly come down here. Since I changed runways, that's clear. 214 is set. That is all the same. For the Airbuses, or the A320 and the A320neo, which I haven't flown for a while, I use the easy format. Yeah, it took me a little while to learn where everything is, but it gives you the passenger information and cruise winds right at the top, and it's a little bit easier for finding the stuff you need. Especially when you're using that calculator that I use on the Boeings. So just coming down here, I'm going to do rad nav and check what we're properly in, since I made some changes. So ICE is the identifier, 108.3 is correct with a 023 course, so that is all correct. So BIPAP, we have to be at 250 knots. So come down here, we take a look, we can see BIPAP 250 knots, flight level 210. It's actually a below 210. Or PIBAP. Then we're 220 knots at Paspu, and we keep 220 knots all the way down to Posub. If we look at our clean speed, it's 218, so we'll just go into clean for that. Once we hit 10,000 feet, we can go managed, and that'll basically have us at the correct speed for that part of the descent. That's funny, Brian. What's Prime 1 Gaming? What's Boom? Alright, we'll turn off those lights so we can see what we're doing as we come in. Got a good rate of descent going. Might need a little bit of drag to help get us down. And it looks like we're about 79 miles out from the airport. So, arrival and weather data is obtained and set. MCDU approach page is set. Radios are set. Wing engine anti-ice not required. That's our OAT right now. God, OAT is above freezing at 25,000 feet. Amazing. Altimeters, we are set 1010. Let's go ahead and set it now since we're clear below transition. There we go, 1010 is set. Approach has been briefed. It's the ILS for runway 02 center. Missed approach, climb to 3,000, heading off on 023. Outbound on the VKT VOR, radial 0232 nylon. It's all good there. MSA for the airport area that we're coming in through is 1,900 feet. Oh, you seeing ships down there? We should have, the Singapore one gives me a lot of traffic in the harbor, so hopefully it'll show up really nice. So auto brakes are going to be set for low. Altitude is set 1010. Now we're just waiting for 10,000 feet and the landing lights. Speed's coming back. $21,000 feet at PBAP. I'm going to have to add a little bit of drag here to get us back on profile. I haven't done that flight in a while, Kevin. There we go. Coming back on profile. Alright, that's us through 20,000 feet. Seatbelt signs are back on.
The flight crew has turned on the fasten seatbelt signs. Please return to your seat to fasten your seatbelt.
So I've got Orbeck cities for Singapore with all the stuff all done and lit up and everything like that, and then I've got Changi Airport. So we'll see what that looks like. Oh, you want to talk to me now too? 1272. So let's dial that in. That's my virtual airline tracker dinging. This is a virtual airline flight today. There we go. It's 2 hours in the air. Or 2 hours since we pushed back anyway. Alright, everything is looking good. There's 18,000 feet. have to be above 6,000 at POSUB, which is right there. So that's our next target altitude. And if we look down, we can see we have the Paspu restriction. Right there, 220 knots. Just start to make out the landmass of Malaysia over there, and the illuminated area down here is Singapore. Singapore's on an island, actually, separated from Malaysia. There's Kevin showing up on the TCAS behind us. Usually we get radar vectors around, but there's no ATC online in Singapore, so we're going to do the extended ILS so we can get a nice view of the approach in the city. Yeah, we're live time, live weather. It's what did we leave at? About 1:30. I think we took off just before 2:30. It's a 2-hour flight, so it's about 4:30 in the morning. So yeah, this should be getting a sunrise soon. I figure within the next couple weeks we should be hitting the sunrises as we land, as we continue to move eastwards. And if you're up for flying, join us Wednesday. It's the final flight of our tour of Scotland. We'll be making a stop, but we're basically flying to, I think it's Dundee and Perth, and that will wrap up that tour. 1930 Zulu on Wednesday, multiplayer on the Northern Europe server, and we'll be wrapping up that series, flying the Beach 18 on that one. Replacing that, once that one's done, and coming up the week after, we'll be starting our tour of England as we crisscross back and forth across England, flying the Airplane Heaven DC-3. So that should be an interesting series as well. Again, on multiplayer. So we don't have to worry about VATSim and proper procedures and that. We can just have some fun. Alright, I'm going to go in here and grab my airport chart. One's Philippine. Hang on, let me take a look. Very quickly, I'll see if I can see. In 2 weeks, actually, we're flying to Manila in a couple weeks, so it's coming up. All right, we're down to 220 knots. Not sure why my green dot is showing now 209 knots, so we're going to keep her in this mode for a little bit. We will, once we hit 10,000 feet, we'll drop it in. We'll be 10 knots under. Actually, we'll keep it till post-sub. It wants us at 220. So there's Go sub over there. So what we can do is we'll do that, 220, and then we'll activate it when we hit 10,000, then we'll just go back into manage mode when we're ready to. It wants us at 190 at Sanat as well, so we'll hold select speed for now. There's the airport. It's over there on that tip, I believe, over that way. So we're going to come down here, out towards the islands here, around, and then come in and land. And again, with the add-ons, hopefully we get to see Singapore looking very nice. There's a little bit of cloud there, as it mentioned. So Kevin, just to confirm, you said you were going for 02 left, so I don't have to worry too much about you coming right up behind me. So here we are coming down. Very nice. So Kevin's just crossing the coast behind us. We're just out of visual range. There's 11,000 feet. There's the airport, all lit up. All three runways. That's three parallel runways, I guess. In real life, if they were doing work, this one wouldn't be illuminated. Oh, 10,000 feet. We'll turn the landing lights on, turn off lights. We'll get the taxi lights on as well.
Flying East Essex, at table 9 ahead is 14 miles an hour on inbound ILS 2 left, flight level 139.
Alright, I've just passed Nylon, so you're about 13 miles behind me or so. So landing systems are on. ICE 108.3 is correct and 16 miles away. There you can see the terminal buildings over there, and there's downtown Singapore. On my list of places I want to visit for sure. We're through 10,000 feet. We're in managed speed, so we're not going to slow down to green speed, but we'll go into...
We have begun our final descent into Singapore. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat in front of you. Please complete all Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
Yeah, we're not going down as fast as we should be. So we're going to get us going down now. Should have been at, well, it says above 6,000. fine. And there's the turn. We'll ding the cabin. Just let them know. Getting close. I got some shipping out there. I can see some lights out in the water. We'll control our descent. Push the marker out past. See, there's the airport and Singapore beyond. Well, I think it was doing okay. I just got a little impatient. There's another airport over there that's in Malaysia. The Johor Bahru Sinai International Airport, but there's a waterway that runs around the island here and that cuts it off for Singapore. There's lots of shipping out here. We should see it as we come in. And if you know Singapore at all, there's the Marina Sands Hotel with the 3 pillars with the connecting thing across the top of it. There it is there. So, it's looking good. What, that one? Yeah, it is. Yeah, how do you turn it off again? Is it up there? Can never remember, or you just hold the button? Yeah. Anyway, 6,000 feet. Even if I lower the brightness, it won't save the fall. Oh well. I probably should turn it off. I mean, I don't need it, obviously. Can hide it hitting the mic button near the armrest. You know, you got me doing this in the dark, right? Mic button near the armrest. It's up here, isn't it? That's message. I'm not going to worry about it now. I'll try to find it for next time. We're through 6,000 feet. The switch like the mic on the H2320. I'll worry about it next. I'll look next time. Actual microphone. Oh, this thing. Oh, doesn't shut it off. It throws it in the back, which is cool. All right, Alright, we're looking good. This is one of the islands. Not sure if this is Singapore or Malaysia. There is an airport down there as well. Where is it? It's over there. WIDD. Hang the dem. So the ILS systems are on. 4,500 feet is set. Localizer and glide slope are showing. Some low cloud, but not too bad. FPD boarded the plane, yeah. Kind of a little bit of stuttering. That's going to be the scenery over there. Interesting, it's saying I'm below the glide slope. Not sure what's going on with that. So we're going to come down. To get under the glide slope. Localizer coming in. It says 4,500 feet. It's weird that it's so far off. 02 center. Localizer armed. We'll let it get underneath and then we'll go glide slope. Here's all the shipping out there in the harbor. There we go. Approach mode armed. Eight miles.
2,500.
Flaps 1. There's Singapore. Ships we're coming in over top of. Okay, glide slope captured.
Changi traffic, Cathay 1 and Turbo Heavy is inbound Sana, turning base right, let's to left, Changi.
Flaps down, or gear down. Speed brakes armed. It's weird how that didn't match up on the chart. Flaps 2. It's 4.5 miles. Singapore area traffic skyways 5556 established ILS 02 center 4 miles Singapore. There's 170 flaps 3. Thousand feet flaps full. That city scenery plus the airport scenery, so it's hitting my system fairly hard. Gear down 3 green, flaps full, speed brakes are armed. Landing lights are on, cabin notified, landing memo, no blue.
500.
I have control.
Hundred above. Minimum.
Landing.
100. 50. 40.
Heavy is overhead Anuma, 20 final for ILS 2 left.
5.
Welcome to Singapore. Keep the reversers low. Don't need a lot there. We are trying to get up as far as we can. 60 knots, reverser stowed. Now we'll take the high speed here at Tango 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Singapore. The local time is 6:21 a.m. and it's currently about 25 degrees Celsius. You can now use your
Flaps
mobile
up,
devices.
speed brakes
Please
disarmed.
remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember
Landing
to use
lights
caution
off.
when opening the overhead
Turn
bins.
off lights
Items may have
off.
shifted
Strobe
during
lights
the
are
flight.
off.
We thank you for flying with us.
Singapore area traffic skyways 5556 clear, runway 02 center. Yeah, thanks Primal Gaming. These days, as long as they look nice and feel good, I'm happy with the landings. Not exactly centered, but like you said, it was a nice one. I got the 5-foot call out, which means I wasn't descending too quickly. There's the spot in between the north and south side of Terminal 1. Again, we're heading up to this side up here. So there is traffic supposedly here. There's a couple more aircraft inbound and there's supposed to be 4 outbound. Got a Qantas, Singapore, Lufthansa, and American Airlines. Not sure where on the field they are. Alright, so we're going to go in here at Papa 5.
Heavy inbound ILS 2 left, 6 miles.
We'll take this down here to the gates. Singapore airport, there's that big dome structure they have here in Singapore. I think that might even be part of the airport, knowing how exotic this place seems to be. Alright, we're heading for gate 46. It's down at the end here. There's 40. A bunch of Scoot Airlines. I think we're at the end of the straight bit here before it curves up. .44. Should be the next one. 46 it is. Alright, so we'll get the light off. ourselves centered in our view. See if this is accurate. Alright, that wants us up a little bit more. Stutters got me at the very end there. Alright, we are here. Stand D46. We'll come over, grab the ground services. Look at the GPU, the chocks, and the jetway. Throw the dome light on while we're here. External power is now connected. Engines are off. Alright, so weather radar off, transponder off, TCAS off. Engine control levers are done. Beacon off. Passenger signs are off. Fuel pumps are off. Flight directors and landing systems are off on both sides. And here we are. Oh, looks like it didn't want to do that. Come on, go level. There we go. Let's try this one more time. D-board. Get that jetway in there. Alright guys, thanks very much for flying. We will be back next this Wednesday, again doing our final run on Scotland. If you want to come in, join the Discord server. It is open for everybody, and all my flights on the live streams are open. Wednesdays are multiplayer, the rest are VATSim. Look forward to seeing you there. And thanks for coming along. And Kevin, thanks for flying with us today. Greatly appreciated. So for everybody, hope you have a great rest of your day. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.
Shanghai traffic at the 1 Tango Heavy taxiing stand Delta 44 via Quebec, Papa 7 Tango 1.